It is 2:00, so we will go ahead and get started with our business meeting, the first one of 2023. It is 2:00 on January 3rd, and I'm calling this meeting to order. In attendance are Commissioners Brooks, Duncan, and Filios, with Commissioner Filios's last business meeting, of his career. Would you like to say anything?
I don't know that there's much to say. It's actually been a privilege working with this board. You know, we've had many challenges. We haven't always agreed, although the vast majority of our decisions tend to be unanimous. Many are routine, some are not. But as I look back over the past 6 years, I think we've accomplished quite a bit. And hearing some of the comments from the employees, they feel that this board has probably been one of the more functional in our ability to get through some very difficult issues and do so with collegiality. So thank you to the residents, thank you to Leslie and Bill, and I wish you the very best going forward.
And I thank you for your service, Chris.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. All right, if you would please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. All right, thank you. Senator Okonowitz, would you like to lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, are there any changes to the agenda? Okay.
We're going to pull item 3, I guess,
Okay.
E3.
Yes, and then also we may need to add an executive session. Dave, do you want us to add it now as an emergency item, or do you want us to wait until
I think you'll wait until the need arises.
Thank you. Okay. All right, so then I would accept a motion to approve meeting minutes.
I move that we approve the meeting minutes 1, 2, 4, and 5.
Second.
Chair Duncan,
Aye.
Commissioner Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Filios.
Aye.
All right, and then consent calendar.
I move that we approve the consent calendar, items 6 through 9.
Second.
Chair Duncan,
Aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Filios.
Aye.
All right, and payables list.
I move that we approve the payables in the amount of, as soon as I get there, $554,434.85, and with no jury panel payments.
Second.
Chair Duncan,
Aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Filios.
Aye.
All right, so now we can move on to our business meeting items. Number 11, this is the board approval request agreement for, actually, we're handling this one last because this one is not here yet. So we will come back to number 11. All right, number 12, agreement between Pictometry International and Kootenai County, which is our GIS section. So thank you, Mr. Christensen. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Today, bringing together for you our annual pictometry.
Can you turn your mic on, please? Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Today, I'm bringing forward a contract between us and Pictometry for our annual aerial imagery. This is the one that we do each spring. This is a little different because we've expanded the area to cover, in essence, all the habitable structures. We do this flight about every 5 or 6 years. I guess I'll just leave it at that, and if you have any questions.
Okay, any questions for Dave?
I don't have any.
All right, motion?
I move that we approve the agreement between Pictometry International and Kootenai County for information technology.
Second.
Chair Duncan,
Aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Filios,
Aye.
Okay, item 13, board approval request, allocation of capital funds for new commercial convection steamer for the jail kitchen, and Captain Miller, please.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Stu Miller for the record. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
So I am coming to you with a request. I have one of two steamers in my kitchen that broke. Apparently the company says it's not worth fixing, and so need to get it fixed. 85% of the meals that are cooked inside the jail are cooked in these things, and it's kind of imperative to have it up and running. I got two quotes for it. One came in at $26,147.06, and one came in at $24,566.63. I identified some funds in my capital line item that were allocated in FY23. One of the projects that we had been approved for by the board came in much less, almost a quarter of what we had anticipated. And so I have more than enough funds in that capital line item to purchase the equipment without having to
Okay,
go into anything else.
great. Questions? Okay, motion?
Now this is a bid,
So I guess it's
Quote.
just,
a quote.
Yeah, I have
But
two quotes.
which one would you like to see?
Honestly, we purchase equipment from both companies, and what I'm gonna ask is that whichever one can get it to me the fastest,
The what? Oh, okay. So we'll
since
leave that
they're
up to-
really relatively very close together.
We'll leave that up to your discretion.
Yeah, and if you wanna say that it's no more than the 26,147, that would be easy.
Okay.
yeah, not to exceed.
Yeah, I move that we approve the request for allocation of capital funds for a new commercial convection steamer not to exceed 26,
147.
147.06.
yeah. And that's it.
I'll second.
Chair Duncan,
Aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Filios,
Aye.
All right, you're welcome. Item 14, board approval request, Riverstone Transit Center, change order number 2 with Idaho Stage Construction and RMO. Jody, are you on the line?
Yes. The Riverstone Transit Center Phase 2002 change order includes the completion date extended to 30 April 2023. Due to this performance period change, the project will be credited $17,000. The change order before you today reflects the change in completion date and the credit to the total project cost.
Okay, and it looks like a $17,000 credit. Not sure if you mentioned that.
Yes.
Yes, you
Yes. Yes.
Yes, thank you. Okay, motion.
I move that we approve the request for Riverstone Transit Center change order number 002, Idaho Stage Construction and RMO.
Second.
Chair Duncan,
Aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Filios,
Aye.
All right, item 15, development and ground lease, ALL 2022-100, development, Luxury International LLC, and the airport. Stephen, did you want to start us?
Yep, Commissioner Stephen Kira for the record. Due to the very recent comments from legal, I actually recommend you table this, and we actually probably need to have a conversation because there's ramifications outside of this lease with those comments.
Okay, I agree.
Okay, so Stephen, I have a question. There are actually a couple of comments that legal made, and one of them had to do with the legality or lack
Can I
thereof.
just
You can-
jump in? Before you discuss my advice, I think a majority of the board needs to agree to disclose advice given and waive the attorney-client privilege. So I just want to caution the board about that.
I rather wait and schedule a separate meeting just because we have at least 3 issues that have been brought up by legal. And so I'd rather discuss it in executive session
Just want
than,
to be careful that the attorney-client privilege isn't waived through comments made without
Sure.
approval of the board. That's all I'm suggesting.
yep. Bill?
That's fine with me. I move that we table item 15 for a date in the future.
I don't know that we need a motion. Dave, do you prefer one?
No, you don't need a motion to just continue it to another day.
Okay, so that's what we will do. All right, item 16 is a tax deed bid for AIN 140940 Hart. So let's see. All right. Sorry, we got two of them here. Okay, Chris, do you want to open that? Yeah, there's one in there. All right, so this is Gentleman Hart who would like to purchase the mentioned AIN. And I do not believe Hart is, and let's see, I thought I saw community development here. Oh, maybe Ben just walked by. And I do not believe Hart is a contiguous property owner.
Okay, so we have an offer to purchase from the gentleman, Trevor Hart, and it's AIN 140940, and the offer is for $300. And so I acknowledge receipt of this offer.
Okay, and I mean, I would be happy with, we can make a motion to deny the sale of this since it is not a contiguous, let me see, contiguous property with Mr. Hart.
Can you tell from that?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's down in Utah, so, yeah. Mr. Hart has been making many offers on many pieces right now.
Does he own property up here?
I don't know. I just know that this is in a special flood hazard area, and it is encumbered by the floodway designation.
Okay.
So,
All right, then I will second that.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a motion.
Chair Duncan,
aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Filios,
Aye, the motion is carried.
Okay, item 17 is another tax deed bid, AIN 246570, also Mr. Hart. Is Mr. Hart here by chance? Mr. Hart on the telephone?
I move that we reject the bid for AIN 20.
Wait, yeah, well, we have to see what it is first.
Okay, so, all right, so this is a bid for AIN number 246570 for Mr. Trevor Hart, and the bid is for $100 for this particular parcel.
And then this one is adjacent to Cave Bay Community Wastewater Treatment Facility, and it is recommended by Community Development that it should be conveyed to the Cave Bay Community Wastewater
Okay,
Treatment Plant, which I think staff is actually working on it.
so this is also a denial.
Yes.
All right,
I just wanted to get all that on the record
Go ahead,
so
Bill.
Mr. Hart knows.
Okay, I move that we reject tax deed bid on AIN 246570 by Hart.
second.
Chair Duncan,
Aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Filios.
Aye.
All right. Next item is item 18, and this is an advisory board appointment. Mr. Leander James has applied for Planning and Zoning Commission with term expiring 12/31/2025. He is recommended by the Chair of Planning and Zoning, and I had a phone conversation with Mr. James, and I think that he would be a good addition to the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I have no questions. I agree.
Okay.
I move that we approve the appointment of Leander James to the Planning and Zoning Commission. His term will expire on 12/31/25.
Second.
Chair Duncan,
Aye.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Filios.
Aye.
All right, next is the appointment of John Malloy to Planning and Zoning Commission. Again, highly recommended by our chair for that. And we do have experience with Mr. Malloy and his previous service to the Planning and Zoning Commission. So I recommend that he also be appointed.
Agreed.
Okay, I move that we appoint John Malloy to the Planning and Zoning Commission. His term will expire on 12/31/25.
Second.
Chair Duncan.
Aye.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Filios.
Aye.
Okay, item 20, Advisory Board. This is actually a reappointment of Madeline David, and she is our current vice chair, and she's doing a good job, and she is also highly recommended to be reappointed to the Planning Commission.
And I would agree.
I move that we approve the appointment of Madeline David to the Planning and Zoning Commission, term expiring 12/31/25.
Second.
Chair Duncan.
Aye.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Filios.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And resolution, this is item 21, Resolution 2022-108. This is disposal of asset number 4962 RICO MP400 ISP, copier for Veteran Services. And Ms. Severance with our asset team.
Good afternoon. Just asking that we go ahead and approve the disposal of the copier. It had been removed by IT earlier in 2022, so we're just asking to remove it from the asset management system.
Questions?
None.
I move that we approve Resolution 2022-108 for the disposal of asset number 4962, RICO copy.
Second.
Chair Duncan.
Aye.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Filios.
Aye.
All right, we are back to item 11, which is the board approval request. It's an agreement for defense services between Kootenai and Latah counties. And Taylor, Public Defender. We can add an executive session right now if you need it, but if so, then I would ask we take public comment before we do that. Not on your item, but in general. Okay. All right, so, folks, we're going to go ahead with public comment, and you have time? Okay. I'm going to move public comment up right now, and Senator Okonowitz, did you want to speak?
I will, though it doesn't seem like it's probably that necessary any longer since you've held that the item that came forward dealt with the luxury international lease. And I did send Commissioner Filios an email last night apologizing that I had previously, at the last meeting that you guys had on this topic, I had offered to share with you the feedback I got from the Attorney General's office when they reviewed the first draft, or the draft that I was looking at the time. I guess it was in November when we had the legislative meeting, and I had intended to chat with you guys about that individually at the time. And luck of the draw, I got to sit nearest to Commissioner Brooks, and at the time it sounded like the deal was sort of not going anywhere, so I didn't really want to waste your time. That said, I think since it's back, and I'm not exactly sure where the commission will stand on it. I'm obviously not privy to your conversations with your counsel. I would share briefly that I'm more than willing to sit with you and your attorney and go over what I learned with the Attorney General's office. They are similarly concerned that legislators are not willy-nilly handing out their legal opinions. If required, I will. If it seems like it's something that we need to do, I can do that still. But I'm more than willing to go through it with you in detail to make sure that the county doesn't find itself in an awkward position legally. And it sounds like, I'm guessing, you're probably onto the same things that they saw too already. I will say that one of those items that I found interesting, just to make sure your counsel's looking at it.
Well, if you don't want to go into it, Dave, would you be willing to meet with Senator Okonowitz?
Of course.
Yeah,
Okay,
whatever
all right.
works.
So if you want something on the record, that's fine, but I'm giving you the option to.
That's,
Okay.
yeah, I wasn't going to give you any quotes or details
Okay.
necessarily right here, but the basic notion is that there are some things that they felt were problematic, and one in particular, very problematic, potentially, the way that the deal is even structured now with the amended agreement as I looked at it last night. So happy to share that with everybody so you can get to the goal line or whatever's you need. But,
Okay.
yeah.
I can just get you in touch with counsel because he needs to stay for the executive session. So if you didn't want to stay, you wouldn't have to.
Okay.
So either way.
Sounds great. Okay, thanks.
Yep, thank you. All right, anybody else? Oh, go ahead.
One last thing. Thank you, Commissioner Filios, for your years of service. And I haven't interfaced with you much, but the one time that I can think of where I did, regarding the Criminal Reentry Center, I really appreciate that you were helpful and supportive in that meeting that day, and that the county, all three of you, helped us get that taken care of here back at home. So thank you very much, and best of luck going forward.
Thank you, likewise, appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, anybody else wish to have public comment? Mr. Anderson?
Thank you, Commissioners, and I appreciate Commissioner Filios' service as well. We were prepared to speak on the issue that was tabled. We think it was appropriately tabled. We had a number of issues we were prepared to talk about, but we will not today. Well, first of all, I've stood at this podium several times, sometimes as representing myself, sometimes as representing the Coeur d'Alene Airport Association. This past week has been very hectic with schedules being put on, put off, made special sessions, whatever. And I did not have a chance to get together with the association when I offered the email that I sent to you folks a few days ago. So those were my comments. I don't want those to be misconstrued as coming from the association because they were strictly from me. They may have some similar concerns, but those were from me. As to some points that the director has brought up in emails that you have seen related to this topic, I don't believe that it's been our position that we oppose any kind of development or new revenue sources at the airport. What we are concerned about is the process. The process, and it's been blatantly showed this past week, is we feel as though we've been cut out of the opportunity to review and comment. I didn't see the second draft of that agreement until this morning because Jonathan was gone, and it's not his fault because things were happening very quickly. But we think that you guys are entitled to advice from the Airport Advisory Board. You're not expected to be experts on everything. They have the opportunity to get together amongst themselves and deliberate on issues and then bring them to you without just appearing to be a rubber stamp for the director. And we very much want to be involved. We want to offer our comments when we can to the advisory board and to the director as well. But being cut out of the process when there's things that you know, I'm not an attorney and neither are any of these folks that are in the room here with me today except the attorney. But when we can read through a document and see that it's one-sided or that there's contradictory things or that it appears to not be representing the interests of the county, we should be able to comment on those things, and it shouldn't be something that's just closely held between the director and a commission member. So anyway, I appreciate your time. I appreciate the fact that you've tabled this, and I hope we have the opportunity to discuss it further in the future before action is taken on it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, any other folks wish to public comment? All right, hearing none, then we will go back to our item 11, and this is an agreement for defense services with our public defender. And I would move that we go into executive session 74-206-1D.
I second the motion.
Chair Duncan?
Aye.
Bill Brooks?
Aye.
Commissioner Filios?
Aye.
Everyone, it is 2:31, and is there a motion to exit executive session?
I move that we exit executive session.
Second.
Chair Duncan,
Aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Filios.
Aye.
So again, we are looking at this agreement with Latah County to provide public defense services. And are there any questions on the agreement?
I have none.
Okay, I would take a motion to approve.
I move that we approve the agreement for defense services between Kootenai County and Latah County for our public defender's office.
Second.
Chair Duncan,
Aye.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Filios.
Aye.
All right. I will once again call for public comment. Hearing none. It is 2:32 and this meeting's adjourned.
Do you want to do status?
I'm sorry, status update, never mind, not adjourned, not adjourned. Okay. Item 1, facilities expansion. The Boughton Construction is going to schedule a meeting with the commissioners and the architect and kind of do a little kickoff meeting. So I expect that to be in January, hopefully sooner than later. And then impact fees.
Nothing yet.
Okay. All right. So now I wish to adjourn the meeting at 2:33.
Thank you.